Morning students, I welcome you all for the online class of economics as we were learning the second chapter collection of data in the statistics. First of all, students, I want to tell you people that don't have to take tension that in your book so many datas are not there, in my book so many datas are there. I am teaching from a book which will give you enough data, not from examination point of view, but which is needed for 11th standard base learning of statistics. So for examination, what you are having in your book that you have to learn. Even from my videos also you can make the notes, but if not possible then I will be providing some of the clicks of this particular books which is needed for your learning process. So students, now I can start my topic, that is sampling. Second part of the data collection method, that is sample inquiry or method. Student, sample, as the name is sample, you can come to know in the universe when we want to collect the data of the whole universe, it is impossible because the universe is not so small that we can collect the whole data. But still in the census we tried our level best, but that data is not accurate because as we are studying the data it will change in the few days, updation will be done. As 10 years the census is passed of every country, that census will be correct, it cannot be sure because from 10 years we are collecting the data. Definitely the data which we are collecting today, it is not like that it will be stable as it is. Tomorrow it can change, updation will be there. So that problem arises in the census method. Because of that, next method arises, that is a sample method. As the name is sample, here we will be collecting the data of universe but in a small form, so that the data which we are collecting, when it is in a small form, it will be having some accuracy. As when we are doing calculation of a big data, it will chances of error will be more. When we are doing practicals with a small data, definitely accuracy will be more as compared to the earlier one. So that is known as sample inquiry or method. Sample method is considered to be a representative of universe. Sample method is that method in which data is collected about the sample on a group of items taken from the population for examination, and conclusions are drawn on the basis. For example, if in any factory we want to study about the wages of 200 workers, then the study of their wages should be made. A sample is considered to be a representative of the whole. Nowadays, sample method is more popular. Suitability, this method is suitable in the following cases: where the field of inquiry is wide, where more accuracy is not required, where an extensive study is not required, where census method is not applicable. There you can have the sample method. Merits. Following are the merits of sample method. This method is very simple. In this method, there is the economy of time, labor, and wealth. Sample method is more feasible in situation of large investigation than the census method, which generally involves unaffordable cost. In case of an extensive investigation, this method is most appropriate. This method is considered to be a scientific method of collecting data. Demerits. These methods suffer from the following demerit, disadvantages, or limitations. Accuracy cannot be ensured by this method. This method cannot be adapted if the units are heterogeneous. Means homogeneous data must be required, otherwise it cannot be done. If the investigator has personal prejudice, the result obtained may be inaccurate. If the persons are not well qualified and experienced, then the information obtained from sample method cannot be relied upon. So this was the sample method, student, as you learned the merits and demerits also, and suitability also, because suitability required. Every method will not be applicable in every place. So where it can be suitable, you have learned. Where an extensive data is not required, there you can have the sample method. Accuracy is not required, there also you can have the sample method. And where census method is not applicable, definitely sample method will be applicable. So, now we will be going to learn the essentials of sampling. Students, essentials of sampling. A good sample must have the following essentials or qualities or requisites. The sample should be adequate. The sample should be representative of the characteristics of universe. The sample should be taken freely. Units should be homogeneous to each other. Next, different methods of sampling. Deliberate or purposive sampling. Deliberate sampling is also known as purposive sampling, student. Under this method, the sample is taken out from the universe according to the desire and need of the investigator. The investigator select those units or items which he thinks fully representative of the universe. These selected units are intensively studied and certain conclusions are arrived at. Like for example, student, you have learned about the, like for example, if you want to know about the, we want to know about the good features of some chocolate products. So instead of checking the whole chocolates available of that brand, if we will select few chocolates of that brand, definitely from that only we can guess that chocolate is good or not. For that we don't have to make checking of each and every chocolate available in all the in the whole country. So that method is known as deliberate or purposive sampling, in which few products are taken for sample for checking the whole universe. Okay, here universe means, like for example, dairy milk product we want to check, Cadbury product, dairy milk chocolate we want to make an investigation. For that investigation, in Chhattisgarh only, if we are taking few chocolates of dairy milk from different places, that will be enough to find the product details about the dairy milk chocolate. For that, from every state we don't have to collect, and that few samples will be telling not only that Chhattisgarh product, but also the whole universe, that is in the whole country, how the product is ask. So that is the deliberate or purposive sampling. Merits. Following are the merits of this method. This method is an easy method of taking sample. This method is most suitable in those field of inquiry where some items are so important to be included in the sample. This method is economical if the size of sample is not very big. This method is flexible to allow the inclusion of those items in the sample which are of special significance. This method is of great significance where all units of universe are not homogeneous. So this is known as deliberate sampling. Demerits of deliberate sampling. Following are the demerits, limitations, disadvantages of this method. This method is not scientific, as there is a big possibility of the result being affected by the personal bias or prejudice. The selection of the sample would differ from person to person and guided at times by personal convenience. This method lacks accuracy as the selection is not based on the principle of probability. Next method is, students, random sampling. Random, as the name is random, we will not take in a sequence all the product for the checking. Randomly we will take few from this group, few from other group. That is known as random sampling. Under this method, the selection of item for a sample depends upon chance. Every item of the universe has equal chance of being selected. In other words, there is an equal probability for every item of the universe being selected in the sample, and one does not know beforehand which item will actually form the sample. That is why this method is known as probability sample. Following are the different methods of drawing random sample. Very first is lottery method. Under this method, all items of the universe are given separate numbers on separate slips. Now these slips are mixed up in a container or drum. This selection is made blindly of the number of slips that are required for sample. The slip drawn will constitute the random sample. This method is used in drawing prizes for lotteries, prize bonds, etc. Table of random numbers. Tippett has prepared, the name of the person is Tippett. Tippett has prepared a table consisting of 10,400 number of 4 digits. How many numbers? 10,400 numbers of 4 digits. Tippett's table of random numbers can be used in taking out the desired sample. Merits. Following are the merits of this method. Since the selection of item is sample are purely on chance, there is no possibility of investigators' bias and prejudice affecting the result. In this method, there is economy of money. In this method, each item has the same possibility of being selected. The theory of random sampling provides more accurate and reliable data. By this method, it is possible to have an idea about the errors of estimation, and we can always find out whether the results are significant or not. So that method is known as, student, table of that is according to the table of random numbers. Merits of the random sampling, I think it is clear. Selection of item is sample are purely on chance basis. It is economy of money. Has money will be saved by this method, has time also will be saved, has we are not taking the whole universe, we are taking randomly the things. Each item has the same possibility of being selected, that will give accuracy in our result. The theory of random sampling provides more accurate and reliable data. That is the true fact. Demerits. Following are the demerits, limitations, disadvantages of this method. This method is unsuitable where some items of the universe are so important to be included in the sample. This method is not suitable where the area of inquiry is limited. This method is not suitable where units of the universe are heterogeneous, means not the same items. For this method, same item must be there, like item must be there. Now stratified or mixed sampling. This method of sampling is a mixture of random sampling, student, and purposive sampling. Under this method, the universe is firstly divided in small groups on the basis of purposive sampling, and then from each subdivision certain items are selected according to random sampling. That's why it is given the name mixed sampling, the name. That is the mix up of random sampling and purposive sampling. Stratified sampling ensures greater accuracy, but this may be difficult in the absence of skilled sampling supervisions. Merits. This stratified sampling ensures better representation of the characteristics of the population in the sample. There is no fear of personal bias or prejudice. Stratified sampling ensured a high accuracy. In this method, there is economy of time, money, as stratified samples are more concentrated geographically. This method is more popular. Demerits. Following are the demerits, limitation, disadvantages of this method. If the whole of the universe is not divided into different stratas, the result will not be reliable. Stratified sampling is a complex method. Such type of sample would be impossible in the absence of experts or trained personals. Systematic sampling. This method of sampling is applied in situations where the complete list of the population from where sample is drawn is available. A systematic sample is formed by selecting initial unit at random and then selecting other unit from population at evenly spaced interval arranged in a systematic manner, either in alphabetical order, geographical or numerical order. Under this method, every size of universe upon size of sample item from a properly arranged universe is selected for the sample. The sampling interval is decided on the basis of total number of units in the sample and the size of the universe. For example, out of 2000 students, a sample of 100 students is to be taken. Then sampling interval is 2000 upon 100, that is 20. The first sample unit will be taken from first 20 students. The subsequent sample units will be selected by using the sampling interval in the serial order. In the above example, if fifth sample unit is selected, out of the 21st sample we are taking, fifth sample unit is selected random among the first 20 units. The next follow has 25th. Then in the next means 20, after 20, 21 to 30 will be there. In that 21 to 40, the 25th will be selected. Then 41 to 60 when the group will be there, in that 45th will be selected. And then 61 to 80 when it will be the sample, in that 65th will be selected. And definitely in the last, when 81 to 100 will be there, in that 85th will be selected with an equal spacing of 20 as indicated by sampling interval. This is known as systematic sampling. Merits. Following the merits of this method is convenient to adapt. There is a saving of time and money. The result obtained by this method are generally found satisfactory. Demerits. This method is not generally random sample. If the population is arranged in a wrong manner, the result will be misleading. Multi-stage sampling, student. Under this method of sampling, sample is taken at several stages or levels. For example, we have to take a sample of 20 senior secondary schools of a state. At the first stage, the state may be divided into a number of districts. Few districts will be selected at random for this selection. At the second stage, district may be subdivided into a number of tehsils, and this sample of tehsil may be taken at random. At the third stage, a number of cities and towns may be selected from the tehsil. Each of the tehsils selected at the second stage. In this way, the sample unit will be selected which serve as a sample for the purpose of investigation. So clearly it has been stated, multi-stage sampling is used for a big type of data where the big part is divided into subpart, and that subpart is again further divided into many subparts for accuracy of our data. Merits. Following are the merits of this method. This method possesses flexibility which is lacking in other methods. This method is a very convenient method. It saves time and money. At every stage, the size of the sample goes on decreasing. Demerits. Following are the demerits, limitations or disadvantages. A multi-stage sample is less accurate. This method is not suitable where the scope of investigation is limited. If wrong sample is taken at first stage, then samples at the other stages are liable to be inaccurate. There is no possibility of testing the accuracy as the size of the sample is large. Quota sampling, student. Under this method of sampling, quota sampling, each individual is assigned a fixed number of quota. Quota means reservation, student. As in the job you have heard, for the gender category, so and so reservation is there for the SC, ST and OBC, or even for women's and physically handicapped, or for military peoples, retired military peoples. Some reservations are there for the particular job. So that is known as quota. For quota of persons from within certain well-defined categories, within the quota, the selection of sample item depends entirely on personal judgment. The investor in the interviewer is then given instruction to get certain information from, say, 40 businessmen over 35 years of age, etc. The object of quota sampling is to gain the benefit of stratification. This method is suitable, student. What are the merits of this method? The information collected by this method is reliable. It can be easily changed. This method is mostly adapted in public opinion studies and marketing research studies. In this method, there is an economy of time, labor and money. Demerits, students. Following are the demerits, limitation, disadvantages of this method. Quota sampling, being a type of purposive sampling, involves too much time and risk of personal prejudice. This method is not very popular. The results obtained are not perfectly correct. Next is, students, after this quota sampling, the types of sample method over. Now we will learn sampling and non-sampling errors. There are some type of errors which arises during the sampling. Let us learn that. Sampling error. In a sample survey, only the small part of the population is studied, student. Hence, while drawing conclusion about the universe, this would result in certain amount of error. Definitely. Like for example, has been taken the example of 2000 students survey we have to do. Instead of taking the 2000 as a whole big data, what we have taken the 2000 upon 100 we have taken, then 20 data we have taken. That 20 cannot tell the result of the 2000. Maybe some inaccuracy, maybe the data which we have taken, the 20 are the best, that's why the result came positive. But what about that left out data, that is 1980 data, what we will be having? Maybe some errors might be in that data. So that type of errors can happen in the sampling error, because few things are representing the whole universe. Maybe that few things will be good, maybe the few things will be bad, so it can have the negative effect on the whole universe. Thus, the difference between a sample result and the census result under the same circumstances is known as sampling error. Even if more care has been taken in the selection of a sample, these errors are bound to appear. The result drawn from the sample may not be 100% correct. Sampling errors are of the following two types. Biased errors. These are the errors which arise as a result of any bias or prejudice of the selector. Such errors are also called cumulative errors or non-compensating errors. Or bias or prejudice remains constant as the number of the sample increases. Unbiased errors, student. These are the errors which arise without any bias or prejudice. These errors arise not because of any bias on the part of the investigator, but because of chance difference between the units of the population included in the sample and those not included. It is called random sampling error. It goes on decreasing on an average as the size of the sample increases. Hence, such errors can be minimized by taking a large sample instead of taking a small. Like 2000 is there, at least 1000 we must make a correction, or at least 500 we have to make sampling, then only we can find out the result of the 2000. Non-sampling, students. These errors can occur in any type of survey, whether it be census or sample survey. These errors are also known as measurement errors. These errors are committed intentionally or unintentionally in the investigation. These include all biases. Biases means confusions and mistakes. They also arise because of the intelligence, lack of knowledge, or forgetfulness on the part of the informants. It is difficult to minimize them even by taking a large sample. So, student, be prepared for up to this topic. I will be giving an exam up to this sampling and non-sampling error. Basis of sampling, we are leaving this top. Basis of sampling and size of sample, as you can see in this photo. I am leaving this. Census of India and NSS also I am leaving, as this much topic is enough for your midterm portion. I want to take the chapters clearly to you people, so that it will not be a confusion afterwards at one time learning. So because of that, up to this non-sampling error only it will be coming in exams. These three topics I am leaving for the examination. I think the point is clear. This three last topic is I am leaving for the examination. Rest all what we have learned till the chapter number 2, collection of data, and the first chapter, it will be coming from your exam point of view. It is now the statistics is theoretical working, so you can prepare your notes. Nothing is needed. You can see the points are very clearly given, the merits demerits also in small points, so you have to learn two points of each merits and demerits, and you have to prepare the notes. Thank you. And that fourth chapter from that microeconomics also you prepare and keep with you. So the notes you have to prepare, whatever data is needed for your knowledge, I will be providing through notes also. Thank you for today's class.